You are watching News 19 at noon with Darcy Strickland.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for News 19 at noon. I'm Darcy Strickland. We start in the Low Country, where closing arguments are over and the jury in the Dylan Roof federal trial could start deliberations very soon. Roof is facing 33 charges in the deaths of 9 people at Mother Emanuel AME Church in June of 2015. During closing arguments, the prosecution has gone over their case, pointing out moments in a video confession with police and items in Roof's journal where he wrote about his beliefs on race. The defense has pointed to suicide notes Roof wrote to his parents and described him as someone who sat alone in his room on the internet. During closing arguments, the defense asked the jury to try to understand what was going on in Roof's head and why the shootings happened. News 19 will continue following today's developments in court, and we will bring you the very latest on any verdict as soon as it happens.
Now, the Midland's most accurate forecast with meteorologist Efren Afonte.
Well, a lot of sunshine has warmed us up, at least in most areas, at 50 degrees when we get to the eastern Midlands. The rest of the Midland community right now still in the temperatures in the upper 40s. Right now here in Columbia, we're at 51 degrees, lots of sunshine, but the winds are out of the northwest at 13 miles an hour, so it feels a lot cooler than that. We'll still see a lot of sunshine all throughout the day today, and it'll still stay windy with northwest winds at about 10 to 15 miles an hour. We'll reach a high of 53 degrees and very cold temperatures tonight. We're looking into the low 20s. Tomorrow, increasing cloud coverage and not as warm. We're looking at a high of 43 degrees. And we'll take a look at the rest of the 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Darcy.
Thank you. Demonstrators plan to meet tonight at the Sumter Mall to march in response to an officer-involved shooting. The event was planned after 35-year-old Waltke Williams was shot and killed by police on Saturday. Officers say a woman at the mall said she was scared to go outside and her ex-boyfriend threatened to kill her. Investigators say Williams took off shortly after police got there and crashed into 2 cars. They say he ran off. Police chased him and then shots were exchanged. SLED is investigating. Sumter police say they are working with organizers to make sure tonight's march is peaceful. Governor Haley has removed 2 of the final 3 members of the embattled Richland County Recreation Commission. Haley removed board members J. Marie Green and Barbara Mickens from office immediately yesterday, finding them guilty of 4 charges, including neglect of duty and incompetence. The only board member out of 7 that remains is Thomas Clark, who will serve the remainder of his term. The commission has been under scrutiny for months over its handling of personnel issues. Since March, 5 lawsuits have been filed against the commission, the former executive director James Brown III, and the board. The Richland County Penny Tax Program will hold a public meeting tonight to discuss the widening of Broad River Road in Irmo. This is just one of 14 major projects to come from the Penny Program. Since its start back in 2013, nearly 110 projects have been completed, costing $125 million. Those projects include the Riverbank Zoo and Garden pedestrian bridge and the Green Street project near USC. The Penny Program director says the upcoming widening of Broad River Road is needed in that highly congested area.
Broad River Road, as a lot of people know, has a tremendous amount of traffic on it, and it is definitely over capacity. So by adding additional lanes, we'll improve the capacity, make everyone's commute times a little bit shorter, and then we'll also improve safety by adding an additional travel lane in each direction.
The Broad River Road widening public meeting will be held tonight at Dutch Fork Elementary School from 5 until 7. Some Richland County residents say they weren't told about a meeting at Fort Jackson to talk about dams that broke during the floods in October. About 10 people showed up to last night's meeting. They say they were part of a lawsuit and they want answers. Organizers say that specific topics were off limits for this meeting. They say the focus was to present the options for fixing the dams and lake at the Legion Lake.
The dams that broke before, our current ones that we're looking at will be built to modern day standards, and that gives us a lot more control of what we can do and how we can be much more positive impact.
The plan now is to look at the public comments and make a report with repairs by next September. You can still make a comment. We have a link to that and more information on the lawsuit on our website at WLTX.com. Convoys filled with civilians are being allowed to leave the Syrian city of Aleppo today. It is the first evacuation under a ceasefire deal this week that would allow civilians to flee the city as government forces take control of the eastern part of the city. The pullout marks the end of the rebels' 4-year control of the area. The government already controls the western half of Aleppo and is looking to soon take control of the entire city. Russian President Vladimir Putin is in Japan today. This meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. The two are meeting to discuss issues about a territorial dispute and to cover economic projects. The meeting is being held in Nagato City, and it is Putin's first visit to a G7 country since the 2014 annexation of Crimea. The meeting comes during American accusations that Russia hacked voting systems during last month's election. The meeting will move to Tokyo tomorrow. President-elect Donald Trump has been choosing new cabinet members to fill his cabinet all week. The latest pick comes in the form of former Texas Governor Rick Perry to lead the Department of Energy. Ashley Rodri has the latest.
It's no secret the energy industry in Louisiana has seen better days. But after Tuesday's announcement that former Texas Governor Rick Perry could become the next Secretary of Energy, state industry experts say they can see those better days returning sooner rather than later.
The energy industry is going to have a voice with the president, with the administration, advocating for our issues.
Gifford Briggs with the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association says the Perry appointment, along with the candidates for Secretary of State and head of the EPA, could result in a rollback of overregulation, a reduction in tax burdens, and opening up previously off-limit areas in the Gulf of Mexico. State Senator Sharon Hewitt, a member of the Senate Finance Committee and also a former energy industry executive, says she's excited about the potential.
In Louisiana, good energy policy matters a lot. First of all, it's going to create energy independence. It's going to create jobs for us, and it's going to create new opportunities in the area of, LNG and new products, for our refineries.
But not everyone is happy. Margie Vicnair-Prey, who led the Voices of St. Tammany Environmental Group against the area's recent fracking controversy, says the selection spelled trouble for everyone.
So I think it's going to be really bad for environmentalists, obviously. I don't think it will help the oil industry in that they'll be able to do basically whatever they want. I'm not sure that's good for them, even though in the long run.
Both sides realize their expectations may not come to fruition, but they're anxious to find out.
Well, the Senate does still have to approve the cabinet nominations, which will start after the new members are sworn in on January 3rd. Yahoo is asking its users to change their passwords in the wake of its second major email breach in recent years. The company disclosed yesterday that in August of 2013, more than 1 billion users' accounts were hacked. Among other things, they say the hackers may have accessed usernames, phone numbers, and unencrypted security questions that could be used to change passwords. Well, what do you want to see in your library? Today, you can give your input into the new look of the Richland Library's Edgewood location. The community conversation will help renovate the new building on Oak Street. The meeting is tonight at 6 at 2nd Nazareth Baptist Church on Elmwood Avenue. Southeast Transport is holding a job fair at 2 locations. The 2 fairs are at the Goodwill Job Connection on Decker Boulevard in Columbia, and the other will be at the Southeast Transport office on St. Andrews Road. The company is looking to hire 20 non-emergency medical response drivers. To qualify for the job, you must have a high school diploma or an equivalent, prior experience in customer service, and a DMV report. Applicants must also pass a drug test and a background check when applying. Today, the South Carolina Department of Public Safety is holding its graduation ceremony. It will be at the Columbia Metropolitan Convention Center on Lincoln Street. It starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. 62 troopers plan to make the jump to the force. The SCDPS graduates will work in highway patrol and highway safety, among other fields. Clemson University graduation ceremony started this morning as students crossed the stage and accepted their diplomas. Bachelor's and master's students accept their degrees by college. The next group of graduates will cross the stage at 1:30. Still ahead today on News 19 at noon, the weather has been a bit of a roller coaster over the last several days, but when will things start to level out and feel just like it should here in the Midlands? Meteorologist Efren Afante has your full forecast. That's coming up next.